Grace and peace to you from God our Father. This was Apostle Paul's greeting to Colossians, and our Bible portion for our meditation today is Colossians chapter 1, verse 15 through 23. My objective is to share my thoughts and readings about Apostle Paul's letters that give us a deeper understanding of the good news from the Bible. It's good to know the context and the writer's history to realize how the verses directly relate to us. Colossae is a minor city east of Ephesus, which is situated in modern-day Turkey. Although Paul has never visited the church in Colossae, he is writing this letter to them along with Timothy. Bible historians indicate that there were some issues with the teachings on some of the customs and practices prevalent in this group, and Paul is trying to exhort that Christ is the center of Christian faith. The epistle to Colossians is about the preeminence of Christ in the church. It contains two main topics. One, the Christian doctrine, and the other, practical steps to achieve it. And our today's study portion is about the Christian doctrine. What is a doctrine? It is a set of beliefs that acts as guidelines for a church or a group. This is always very abstract in its nature. Usually, we think of physical or concrete as the opposite of abstract. Concrete things have a form or a structure. So I say table, would you consider it as physical or abstract? Yes, a table or the table will be very concrete. However, table is an abstract idea that can vary within a broad concept of a plain surface supported by legs. Beliefs may be the result of subjective experience. Doctrine also means knowledge. Knowledge is not just collecting information. Information gathering in today's world is literally at your fingertips. All information is biased or skewed from the source, medium, or the receiver. Our dislikes, traditions, culture can all become part of this bias. Identifying our biases can transform our information to knowledge. It reminds me of King Solomon's Proverbs. Fear of God is the beginning of knowledge. When we believe in the true God, nothing else can influence us. Our Christian belief must be guided through true teachings of Jesus. The church in Colossae was started by Epaphras, whom Paul described as our dear fellow servant and faithful minister of Jesus on our behalf. To address the difference of teachings regarding circumcision, dietary regulations, and ritual observances, Paul reminds the supremacy of Jesus Christ as the basis of all Christian life. Christ is the head of all our beliefs. We live in a world of rules and regulations, and the society needs them to maintain order. However, Jesus summarizes all these laws into two new commandments. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. Love your neighbor as yourself. As we see in 1 John chapter 4, verse 21, whoever loves God must love his brother as well. So the essence of what Jesus taught us to believe is love God and each other with all intensity. Paul explains this beautifully in his letter to Corinthians. Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud, it is not rude, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered, it keeps no account of wrongs. Love takes no pleasure in evil, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never fails. Love never fails. This is the experience of Christ being the head. We live in a world where wars are fought in the name of God. People are unkind, boastful, proud, rude, self-seeking, angry to each other. Do our actions to one another show our love of God? Have we started believing that our rituals and showmanship can dazzle God and get us to the royal mansions and lifestyle in our afterlife? What is driving us as Christians? Is it the covenant of love? In our heart of hearts, we have to ask the question, what is our belief? We all could quote the Bible on our faith. I would say those verses come to life only when it is authenticated by our real life experience. Yes, it is very subjective. Each person has their own unique experience from the same incident. Does that experience divide us or unite us in love? We believe that Jesus gave his life for us. That is the ultimate sacrifice and the prime example of love. Are we concerned about our neighbors and the well-being of people around us? Colossian church, which mainly comprised of Gentile converts, were confused with the customs and practices mandated by some of the believers. Paul categorically states that the supremacy of Jesus Christ in the church is above all organizational requirements and rules. There will always be changes happening in the world. The love of Jesus never changes. It is easy to get confused with traditions and values. Values should drive the traditions and not the other way around. Jesus, who is the embodiment of love, is our value. Everything else is transitory and dependent on worldly events. Every Christmas, we hear the message that a child is born unto us, who is Emmanuel, God with us. Jesus is the image of the invisible God spreading gospel of love. Will this Christmas be the Christmas where I really experience God to be with us? Will this experience of divine birth transform us to people who love God with all our hearts, soul, and mind, so that we express it in our care to one another? The Christ child born within us should grow to become an example of loving one another and bringing peace to the world. Then only we can say, unto us a child is born, unto us a son is given, and he shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Prince of Peace, Mighty God. Wish you all a very happy and peaceful Christmas. Thank you.